I'm Miss Halpin, and I'm going to do a craft with you today. Sound good? That's my cat. Hello, cat. This craft will only require a small towel like this, a rubber band like this, and two smaller rubber bands like this. But they can be bigger if you have to have them bigger, but something small is good. That's my dog and my cat. They're going to play right behind me. It's fine. So why are we doing this craft today? Because we are going to make something awesome out of something not awesome. This is a towel.
Not awesome.
But we're going to make a teddy bear out of it.
Awesome.
Why are we doing this? Because being out of school for a pandemic,
Not awesome.
and we just found out last week that we are going to be out for the rest of the school year, learning at home. And even though there's some cool stuff about that, like getting to sleep in a little bit and maybe getting to eat snacks whenever you want to, not having to hide them in your pockets.
Just me? Am I the only one hiding snacks in my pockets? It's fine.
Even though that's super awesome, there are parts of it that are decidedly unawesome. And I don't know about you, but when I found out that this is what we were going to be doing for the rest of the year, I was thinking to myself, that's not awesome, because I miss my friends and I think school's awesome. But that's one of the things that getting to meet together is helping us do, is to take things that are not so awesome and to make them as awesome as we can. And so I talked to a teacher who told me that the way she was feeling when she found out that we were going back to school was she said, I'm just feeling really two-dimensional, like flat, like the screen that I'm teaching on. And I was like, that's incredible. I hadn't thought of it like that flatness that you can feel. And why do we feel that way? Because so many awesome, not awesome feelings, thoughts, and emotions are happening all at the same time, and that's exhausting, right? So we're going to make something awesome today, a teddy bear, out of something very not awesome, this random towel. And we're going to talk about how we can take things that are not so awesome and at least talk about them together and find a little bit of comfort and support and encouragement. Sound good? Cool. Okay, so all you need to do first is to take your not awesome basic towel, and you're going to take each side and you're going to roll it up like a scroll. Have you ever seen, oh, that was cool, did it again. Have you ever seen a Swiss cake roll from Little Debbie? What we're making right now, this first step, is going to kind of look like a Swiss cake roll from Little Debbie, because you got this one half looks delicious. Do you see it? That's what's going to look like on one side. And then you're going to roll up the other side. Same thing. Roll it. Don't eat it. It's still just a towel. And you're going to make sure that it meets in the middle of your towel so each side is even, like this. Do you see it? Do you see how it looks like a Swiss cake roll? Yeah, it looks delicious. Don't eat it. So when we take something very flat, right, like our feelings, we're feeling very flat, we're feeling overwhelmed, all this stuff's going on, and we roll it up and we kind of try to see it differently, that can be really helpful and beneficial. Yes, school is out and we are learning from home. And there's so much about that that's such a bummer. And it's okay to be super bummed and to recognize that it's a kind of a super bummer, like to recognize that this towel is still just a towel and not a Swiss cake roll. But there's something that lightens my spirits and my thoughts and my hopes and my feelings whenever I look at it differently and say, it kind of like a Swiss cake roll, because then I get to imagine what this towel could be. So we know that we don't get to go back to school just yet, but we can imagine some really great stuff that we can do with our families or together online that maybe we wouldn't have even had time to do whenever we were doing school regularly. And even though that doesn't take away the boringness and the lameness of not being able to go to school, it's looking at it in a different way, and that's kind of cool. And just looking at things in a different way can maybe take my blah two-dimensional feelings and turn them into something else that's a little creative and fun. But are we done here? No, because we did not just come to make fake Swiss cake rolls. So the second step in making our teddy bear is the trickiest step. I will say that to you. And that is twisting. We're going to take one side, just this side, and we're going to take it up and twist it, just like that. Do you see? So it's twisted, right? So then I'm going to take it, because ultimately this is going to be the arms, this is going to be the legs. So I'm going to take the legs and bend them over, and I'm going to put them inside of the arms. And I know that they're the arms because they're a little bit shorter. So it looks like this. Do you see? So I'll do it again. I took it from our Swiss cake roll. I took this part and twisted it up. Do you see this? Like this. And this is going to be my legs. I'm going to take this part right here. I'm going to open those arms up a little bit and put the legs in between like this. Do you see? It still doesn't look like a teddy bear yet, and that's okay. So let me pause here. When I have flat feelings, and then I start to try to look at my situation and see it in a new and creative way, the second step that I can do, because I've just tried to shift my perspective a little bit, right? The second thing I can do is kind of reorient or reposition myself in a different way. So if I have been sort of laying around the house all day and then I hear sad news, well, I feel kind of sad still. But the cool thing about the body is your feelings, your thoughts and your emotions, they all work together all the time, even if we don't realize it. So if we can reposition ourselves, meaning if we can get some endorphins by doing some exercise, getting outside, changing our body posture, instead of just sitting on a screen all day, because I know we have to a little bit because we're in school or whatever, but taking a pause, taking breaks, going outside, riding your bike, dancing, doing some crazy TikTok challenges, all of that will reposition us and reposition our bodies so that we're looking at things in a new way. We're sitting or working with a totally different posture, and we're able to kind of reset our bodies so that we don't have such blah feelings. When I start to feel blah, the first thing that I need to do is move my body, because if I can get some awesome endorphins going in my body, it can help me feel better, sometimes almost instantly. And that's what's happening with our teddy bear. I'm going to move him up, just like this. He was laying down, now he's up. I'm going to make the teddy bear's neck by holding it with one hand and putting the rubber band around it with a second hand. You have an option of going and getting like a bow or a ribbon or something and putting on him, but for now we're just going to do this because it's easy. You'll see that he still doesn't look like a teddy bear though. Have you noticed his head kind of looks like a Wookiee? I mean, if you like Wookiees, you can leave it like this, but I'm going to make a teddy bear. And I'm going to do that by just I'm going to kind of try to fix his face a little bit. Let me fix his face so that I get a lot of good dimension here. And I want to make sure that he's looking kind of symmetrical, just a little bit. There you go, buddy. Now, you might want to do it twice, but this is too small, so I'm not going to do it twice. My dog is going to bark at someone now. All right, so what you'll see is I've got my teddy bear started, but he really just has arms and legs. We need to fix his ears, okay? So that's what we're about to do. We're about to fix his ears. And so when we fix his ears, I want to talk about the last thing we do. Okay, so the first thing is we shift our perspective by just trying to see things in a different way, right? The second thing that we do is we move our bodies to try to get some endorphins, especially when we're feeling kind of blah. The third thing we need to do is fix our ears. That's what we're about to do. We're going to fix his ears. We're going to fix ours. We need to listen for messages of hope, because there's plenty out there right now that could be kind of scary. And if I were just going to be like clicking all the day long on all of the scary articles and videos that are out there, I might drive myself absolutely bananas. And it would make sense that I would feel really blah after listening to that all day. But There are so many cool and awesome messages of hope going on right now, of doctors and nurses and police officers and firefighters and grocery store workers working so hard to make sure that everything is going okay. And there are plenty of people just like you and me out there doing great stuff every day to help neighbors. And when we can hear messages like that, that changes the way that we feel about what we can do to make even our own houses better places to be. So let's fix his ears because I want him to hear messages of hope. Now you're going to take one side here and you're just going to, like on a catty corner, you see how I'm kind of like angling my rubber band. Do you see how I've made an ear? Some of you did not see a teddy bear until I just put that ear on. And now that you see the ear, you're like, I see where you're going with this. I'm going to put on the other one. Here you are, sir. Let's put on your second ear. I'm going to orient his ears so that I'm trying to keep them as symmetrical as possible. I want to make sure that he hears messages of hope. Now, I'm trying to adjust this rubber band because it's not quite big enough to do it. So I'm just going to twist it and tie it. Easy peasy, no big deal. And you can adjust however you want to as well to make sure that your bear looks like a bear. So you go through and shift his ears a little bit and make sure that you give him a little nose, which we'll do that too. But here he is. Does yours look like a bear? Mine does. He looks awesome. There he is. Do you see? So we can take something super boring and basic and flat and blah, like a towel, and make it look like a teddy bear that brings comfort, encouragement, hope to everybody. And even though we know it's still just a towel, he's kind of awesome looking and he makes me happy. So even though we have something pretty blah, like having school at home and not getting to see people in person, if we look at it in a different way, reorient ourselves to doing things that are good for our bodies and make our ears hear things that are hopeful, we're going to get through this just fine. And we can take something that was really boring and basic and turn it into something kind of awesome and full of encouragement. I hope that you enjoyed making this craft today, and that I hope that you can go out and make it and think about how something as simple as turning something basic into something a little bit more awesome is a really great way for us to make even the longest of these days go by in a flash and to have a little fun while we're doing it. I hope you have a good day.